So the first number one I'm looking at this week is Faithless, number one, written by Brian Azzarello, art by Maria Llovet. This one is from Boom Studios. So Brian Azzarello is a writer I'm kind of mixed on. Sometimes I really like his stuff, sometimes I don't. I read his 100 Bullets series, which went 100 issues, and I really loved it in the beginning. I thought it was so awesome. But then when we got near the end, it started to get a little bit convoluted a bit. He's also writing Batman Damned right now, which I'm loving the art in, but I find the story to be kind of weak. He also wrote Wonder Woman, and it was a pretty well critically liked run. However, even in that series, while I enjoyed it, I also found it a little bit confusing at times. But I'm very interested to see this indie book of his and how it's going to be. It is very, very different than a lot of his other work. Like, you can't even really tell it's the typical Brian Azzarello style, and it's such a different story. So the tagline for this book is an erotic depiction of faith, sex, and the devil in the tradition of the Divine Comedy. So I really like the art style in this book. It's very different, very quirky, some very vibrant colors, pretty cool. I have to give a warning before we get into this issue, is that this book is pretty erotic. There's some nudity and there's some lesbian sex in here. So there's going to be some cartoon nudity in some of these pages. So just a forewarning there. So this girl, Faith, she's in this cafe, and she likes to dabble with magic. She has this little, like, notebook, and she draws symbols in it, and I guess they sort of maybe create magic out of these symbols or something. Her friends think it's cute, her little hobby. It's a little off-putting, but it's sort of part of this girl's charm. Eventually, this blue-haired girl walks into this cafe, and Faith accidentally spills some coffee on her. And she starts apologizing, offering to buy this girl more coffee. Eventually, they sort of start hanging out in this cafe. And as they leave the cafe, they run into the blue-haired girl's ex-boyfriend. And they have a little argument. The ex-boyfriend wants the blue-haired girl back. And she's like, I said I don't love you. I don't want anything to do with you. And that sort of little confrontation ends. Eventually, Faith and the blue-haired girl, they go to a bar to do some day drinking. And on the TV in the bar, we see that same ex-boyfriend. And he is like on the rooftop or on the balcony of this building high up. He's there and he jumps off and he kills himself. So he's dead. And then the blue-haired girl makes a joke. And Faith is a little taken aback by this because she literally just saw her ex-boyfriend kill himself, and she's already joking about it. So eventually they move past this, and Faith starts explaining her dabbling in magic, and the blue-haired girl thinks it's pretty cool. Eventually they wind up at the blue-haired girl's place, which she lives in a pretty nice loft. It's pretty big. And Faith asks to take a shower, and this is where we get erotic, people. The blue-haired girl then asks if she can join in on the shower. Then they start having sex. You know, the blue-haired girl's going down on the other girl. And one thing that's weird is that the blue-haired girl, she, at the last, like, ending of this book, she sort of turns into something. Like, I don't know what she's turning into here. A whole bunch of maggots or something? I don't really know what she turned into in the end here. And that's how this issue ends. Overall, I don't really know what to think about this issue. I liked the art style, and I'm kind of intrigued to see where Brian Azzarello goes with this. I'm not fully on board, but I'm definitely going to check out issue 2 and see where this plot goes from here. I'm going to give this issue a 7.5 out of 10.